and three. Recording. What's going on, ladies and gents? It's the Dave here. Recording another video on the 15 Laws of Growth. This one is on the law of contribution. I got my really good friend Nelia here. She's going to help me communicate to you how important it is to grow into being able to be the person that you can contribute at the level that you want. We all want to give. We all want to be someone that can help other people, but there's just little things that we need to learn along the way that are going to help us give at the level that we want to. Now, Nelia is a ninja at giving because she's even got a book. What's the book called?
Giving My Heart Room to Breathe.
See, there you go. And she's got a podcast called Giving Starts With You. That's correct, right?
Yes, and thank you for coming on there.
Yes, hey, anytime. Well, Nelia, before we get into this, the content of what I want to communicate, what's been going on in your life? We haven't talked in a while.
Yeah, we haven't. I'm just trying to, there's always, how do I say this? So yes, I can talk about, I wrote a book, and yes, I can talk about the podcast and all these things, but, I do try to live my life around giving. So I'm constantly trying to better myself and just learn from other people and just learn how to do it simply. That's the whole point. So I have created some courses. One is about giving back. One is about helping you through grief, things like that. So I'm working hard, trying to get the message out there.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You're doing all of the stuff that I know a lot of people dream of doing. So when did it start with you, and kind of take us through what it was when you had the idea, and then some of the things that you had to endure along the way?
Absolutely. To make a long story short, my journey started about 15 years ago. I lost my father to cancer. He was 59. I was pregnant. And it took me about 12 years to start to grieve. So I put all my needs aside, was trying to help everybody else, and then hit burnout. I was diagnosed with anxiety, depression, PTSD. And although I had a lot of people around me who loved me, I was sinking in loneliness. So that's one of the things I want to do, is end loneliness. Because I think without that, there's no movement, right? You can't really, there's no hope. So I want to create hope for people. So that experience really taught me a lot. And my son had created a giving project out of his own heart at 6 years old, and he taught me about giving. So this is not just something that I woke up to, kind of hit me in the face. And if anybody wants to read a little bit more about his story, David will let you know where to find it. But the feeling that I got from helping other people was the number one thing that helped me live through what I lived through. It was so difficult, and I felt so alienated, and I couldn't get up out of bed in the morning, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And then here comes this child, innocence, teaching me, how to be a better person. So yeah, we took that and ran with it. So now we've started, a bunch of different things, and it's hard. It's hard. I grew up learning how to take care of people, but not how to take care of myself. And until I could do that, I couldn't do any of these other things. So that's, I think, where you have to start. Definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's why I started the podcast and all these things, Yeah, I struggled at the beginning. I was like, well, who's going to listen to me? How am I, with no money, not belonging into groups, not doing all of these things, not having time, because I'm a very busy person. How am I, how's one person going to make a difference? How am I going to impact without, because I always thought you need to have money. You need to belong to, I'm Christian, but you need to belong to this big, church organization and go with them. And you need to spend all this money and volunteer overseas with people in order to make a difference. And it's not true. It's not true. So what I want to teach people is that you need to go through some things to find out who you are. Because with me, I struggled with not feeling good enough, right? So when you don't have somebody to believe in you, there's two choices. You can either believe them or you can believe in yourself. So for many
Wow.
years, I believed in other people. This is what they think of me, so this must be who I am, you know? And it killed me. It killed me. I didn't know who I was. People pleasing is not a good thing. It just makes you feel never good enough.
Right.
I was struggling with, why would people listen to me? I'm just an ordinary person, you know? But then I realized that, yeah, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't, you know? So if it's okay with you, David, I'm just gonna, tell you a little bit about how I, came into that. So,
Perfect.
um, yeah, so 2020, just before COVID hit, I decided it's time to do more than just do my son's project, which is helping the homeless in our community. I needed to do more. And so because giving and music was were the two things over therapy, over all of those things that I had to, go through, were the two things that helped me feel better about who I was, feel more confident, love myself more, and help other people at the same time. Like, you can't lose, like everybody wins. There is no negative when it comes to contribution, right? So I decided, well, all right, don't have the money, don't know what to do, don't have a lot of time. So we decided, hey, I've always wanted to go to Guatemala. Let's go to Guatemala. So all it took was an idea. It didn't take money, it didn't take any of these things. In 4 months, we were able to put together a little bit of a fundraiser, not much, just asking friends and family. And we decided to be able to raise funds to buy some ukuleles, and ukuleles, because they're easy to pack. Like, I had to find something. It was just like the ideas had to come, so you had to find something that you could pack and take that wouldn't cost a lot of money, that would be fun. And we decided to buy 3 tickets, one for me, one for my husband, one for my son, go out to Guatemala, hook up with the Fundamaya down there, great organization, and just bring joy to the children. So I knew I could sort of afford the plane ride, kind of saved up for those 4 months like crazy. But I did it through kindness of other people. So here are people who believe in, okay, this girl's got this idea. So they're now donating ukuleles and some other things. And found myself just out of the blue connecting with these other people at Fundamaya, and just starting from nothing. And I knew I couldn't help. I wanted to help. I was passionate about children. In order for me to come up with this idea, I had to figure out what I care about.
Mhm.
Because without knowing what you care about, even though you want to help, it's not going to sustain the idea. Like, you can't volunteer or you can't give to something you're not passionate about, because it's not going to last. You're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to get the benefits out of it. It just doesn't work. You have to find something, and for me, I was very passionate about that. Music helped me so much in my life. And I knew that I could not, help these children with their financial situation, help them with their medical needs, but I could help them forget that they were hungry. I could help them forget that they had no place to sleep, and just make them be kids, like just allow them to be kids. It was I get so emotional sometimes. It was the best thing I had ever decided to do. It changed my life. It changed my husband's life. It changed my child's life. He's now 15 and can't wait to go back again, And through that, other things have happened. So I just want people to know it's not hard. You just have to change the way that you think. If you think that you're only one person in this big world, and what can you do? And you can change the people's lives. Like, so many things have come out of just this, and it's a simple thing. Like, I didn't go and change poverty and all these things, right? But I don't know, just so many things came out of it. It's just like, it's still continuing. And it makes me feel so good. And it's okay to say you feel good about something you do, like, sometimes we're like, oh, don't talk about yourself. and don't, you know, and don't think highly of yourself and everything. It's not that. There's a difference between being humble and helping because you really want to help, and helping because it's just something, you know, you're asked
To
to.
look good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, it's not genuine, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you know it's genuine when, I don't know how else to describe it, but you get this like fuzzy feeling and you
Yeah.
just go about your day like, oh my God, I feel so good. These people have given me so much more than I could give them.
Right. Because it fills you up.
Oh, it it helps me remember why I'm here, you know?
Right.
I believe that we all have a contribution. Like we have, I think that we have responsibility, okay, as human beings to contribute in some way, okay? And I think it's selfish to think that our lives are just about us. You know, we're
Right.
all the same. We all breed red. It doesn't mean where we live. And you don't have to go out of the country like I did to make a change. You know, you can do it in your local community, even with COVID. Like there's so many lonely people and so many lonely elderly people and so many teenagers that were stuck at home without friends, without all these things. Why not connect these two people together and maybe have the teenagers online teaching elderly people how to use the computer,
Right.
right? So it gives the teenagers something to do, and it gives the elderly people a way to connect with their family if they can learn how to use a computer. Like there's always something, and that's
Right.
free. That doesn't cost anything.
Right.
All it costs is a few hours of coming up with the idea and getting things, you know, learning the tech and stuff. It's not hard. It's not hard. I think it's living without giving is harder
Yes.
than living with giving. You know, I don't know. I think, I also think there's like two kinds of people, you know, people who ignore themselves and people who really work on getting to know themselves and discover themselves. And you may think that you don't have anything to share, you know, like, but if you can figure out what you're good at, what you love to do, and maybe you forgot about it. Like sometimes as children, you know, kids don't, like before they play, they don't sit there and go, so what's going to make me happy? Like, what am I going to do? You know, they just do it. Like they just figure it out. If they don't like that activity, they move on to something else. There's no thinking, you know? And as adults, we forget how to do that. So the more we know about ourselves, the more that we, you know, learn something. If you don't feel like you have anything that makes you happy, just take up a new thing, you know? The more you know about yourself, the more you're going to hook up with something that means something to you. And you're going to come up with an idea, just like I did. Like I didn't do anything extraordinary. I just followed through, you know, and I don't follow through with everything. And this was one of the things, you know, you're following through when, I don't know, you know, it means something to you when you just can't stop talking about it. And as you can tell, I'm very passionate about this because I won't stop talking about it. But yeah, so
That's good though. I mean, if I really feel like if more people would sit and think about what they can do to make other people happy, they'll realize that in doing that, in making other people happy, in serving others, it creates joy for themselves. And the thing that you were talking about, kids, it's my kids teach me so much
yes.
about being a human being. Like they don't understand failure. If they want something, it's theirs already in their head. It's theirs already in their head, and they don't understand why they can't have it. But parents are putting that limitation on them, like you can't have candy, you can't have ice cream for breakfast. But to them, it's like if I can see it and I desire it, I should have it. And if we could keep that in our own mind, if we could think like a child, we could probably have more in our life and not be afraid and doubt and all the other emotions that cut into actually being happy and being able to do the things that bring you joy. So all that stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what else did I have?
And you know,
What
you
do
also
you
have to, sorry, you also have to learn how to receive.
true and receive without feeling guilty,
Yes, that's
because it's only fair for you to receive. If you're going to give, then it's only fair for you to be able to receive and accept it without guilt, because we're all human, we all need. So yes, absolutely. Wonderful. I had questions, but you're going on so good. I
I'm
didn't want
sorry.
to, I didn't want to interrupt. I had another one. What was it? Man, no, that was all perfect. That was all wonderful. That's exactly why I wanted you to be the one to talk about contribution, because you are passionate about it, and it does excite you because you're doing it, you're in it. You're not just thinking about it, you're doing it and you're in it. And the actions that you've taken are spider webbing out because you're running into other people with the same passions as you. You're running into other people that have that need to serve people, and it's getting bigger. So
Mm.
can you tell me a little bit about the people that you're meeting and some of the stuff that you're thinking about getting into and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm the first one to tell you that I started on this giving out of selfish reasons. So, I did it because it made me feel better. It helped my anxiety. It helped me get up in the morning. It gave me a reason more than just my pain. So I have to say that, it didn't start all, roses but just being honest, but sometimes it's the little things. So in starting my podcast right after I got back from Guatemala, um, and the reason I started that is to have people like you who came on and just help others feel less alone and in their struggles. And, in having that show, I've had people come on afterwards and said, thank you for giving us a platform to share the first time that I was molested, or the first time that I was fired because of being an alcoholic, and things. And those people have, in feeling safe on the show has allowed them to now write books about it, has allowed them to do TED Talks, has allowed them to not be afraid to share their message over and over and over again. So I'm very proud of that. I'm proud that, they felt that it was a trusting place and a safe place for them to come, because lives have been changed by people coming and opening up about their stories, So, and it's all them, I just give them the place, and I honestly didn't do anything. They just came on and yeah, and did the thing, and, I have to tell you, out of this, it's such a simple thing what we did with Guatemala, but out of this has come out a few different things. So one of the things is I met this gentleman. He was my driver. His name is Erwin Rivas, and I actually interviewed him on the show a couple of times. If anybody wants to go back and hear his story. And we spent he's a total stranger, okay, but thank goodness he spoke English as well. So it was great. But we spent 3 hours in a small vehicle on the way to rural Guatemala from Guatemala City. And there was no small talk. Let me tell you, we got into it, like the 3 hour, we were in tears by the time the drive was over. And this guy is just remarkable. And, he started off being abandoned, and he became a drug lord, and he went to prison and all these things, and just living what poverty is like in Guatemala and all the struggles. And now, we're working together and to help people that grew up like him. So we're starting this project just by that one conversation. We're starting a project where we want to help youth, troubled youth, just as he was, who are left alone and who are having struggles and who don't have anybody with them, who've been abandoned. And we're going to teach them English online. It's free. Okay. So here's another free idea. And just over Zoom, he's managed to get a local like community center to offer it for free. You just have to ask. You have to be brave enough to ask. And during his years in prison, toward the end, he did become a teacher, and he's changed his life. And now he owns a tourism company down there, which is struggling during COVID, but he's still hanging in there. And he wants to take a portion of his profits and put it into traveling with purpose, right? So I've combined with him. I completely believe in him. He's a remarkable person, and he's been there, so people can relate with him. And so we're going to be starting this educational program, and it doesn't cost anything. But he's handpicked, for example, these 10 teenagers who are so bright, but without the program would be stuck. And
Right.
once they learn the English, he can now hire them to be tours in his business. So he's giving them a job, which in turn, he's changing their future, their family's future, all over a conversation, cut the small talk. Let's talk about, like, you're on the other side of the world. What do you need? Like, what do you, and it's just so beautiful because, like, he's like one of my greatest friends now,
Uh-huh.
so just as an example of what can come from just having the conversation, and not being afraid. So many times we think we're so small,
Right.
and we're so, what can we do? Like, what can one person do? What can a 6-year-old, my son Evan, what can he do? And he created a project we're in our 9th year now. And so many people lives have been changed by it. We've been able to get people, off of being homeless and just different things, because as a 6-year-old, he went outside of the box and just had this idea. We didn't know what we were going to do. He woke up in the morning and just like, okay, let's do this. And we figured out, we were driving to the destination, not having a clue, and just like, okay, we got half an hour to figure this out, and just doing it, and then feeling like, okay, I can improve on this, or I can help more people. And none of it cost money.
Uh-huh.
So, that's my biggest message, is that don't think that you're not enough. Don't think that you can't make a change. If every single person, I told him, there was 400 people in your elementary school. If every single child did 1 day a year, it would be over that year. Do you know how many people, I don't know, do you know how many people would be impacted by that? 1 day, just in that one school. It's just, yeah. So I've created this course, and it's to teach people that, yeah, exactly what I'm talking about. It's just to say, hey, let's find out what your idea is. Let's work together, create it. And I promise you, you don't have to have all these obstacles in your way. You can do it. And the way that you're going to feel at the end of it, it's just amazing. Made
That's
me want to
awesome.
live again, made me want to get up in the morning. And yeah, I don't know, it's a beautiful thing, I think,
It's purpose. You feel like you have purpose now. And it's
Yeah.
awesome because you found purpose for yourself, you're helping other people find purpose for themselves. So it's all just getting bigger, and that's awesome. All right, so I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you're busy, because we could just all day. So what I'm going to do is in the description, I'm going to put ways for people to contact you, links to some of your courses, some of the things that you're working on. So if you're watching and you need to get a hold of Nelia, there's going to be multiple ways that you can get a hold of her. And if you want more stuff like this with more wonderful people, hit the like button, subscribe, and I will be happy to bring you more wonderful people like Nelia. So in closing, do you have anything else?
I want to say thank you, David, for talking about this, for bringing, all this to the forefront, like all of your topics. It's just amazing. And thank you for coming on my show. If people haven't heard your episode, it's beautiful. It's all about self-care and self-love, and there's a lot of good things in there. So I would love for people to check that out too. Thank you so much. It's an honor to talk to you. And yeah, keep doing that. You're doing important work, man. Like, keep at it.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Well, guys, thank you for watching. Like I said, all the information that you need to get a hold of either one of us is going to be at the bottom. Nelia, thank you so much. We will talk to you soon.
Take care.